Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Harry Muppet. Welcome back to another Starcraft 2 Daily Masters cast. We've got an awesome game coming up for you today. Up the top left side of the map, it is going to be Patience. He is messing up my mouse cursor. He is from South Korea, playing for the Alien Invasion team. So very, very awesome player. And we've seen actually quite a lot of him in the DreamHack replay. So always good to see another game from him. His opponent is a very, very, very scary Terran player. It is MMA. He is 25 years old from South Korea and he plays for Team Acer. So definitely the last player you want to be underestimating in a match like this. And Patience, I don't know, man, he's been showing some real skill so far in our replays, but I think anybody going up against MMA is almost on the downside, man. He's almost got to work uphill because that's just MMA, man. He's just so awesome in every single game he plays. So it's going to be interesting to see how this game turns out, what exactly goes on. And yeah, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of news as well. As you know, the tournaments that I'm casting, the Hairy Bash is going to be every 2 months. So we've had one at the start of Feb. There's going to be another one at the start of April, probably about the, I don't know, 8th, 15th, something like that. And yeah, so that's going to be awesome. And I'm also going to be introducing a couple more tournaments. And the first one that's going to be coming up soon is going to be a free-for-all tournament, which I'm going to be holding in the middle of March. So I'm thinking March 15th at the moment. And there will be a more formal announcement on this YouTube channel, probably make a video for it or something like that, I don't know. But yeah, and it will have a link to the tournament up there. So yes, definitely feel like checking it out. It's not going to be any prize money or any points or anything like that associated with the FFA tournament. It's just going to be a whole lot of fun. If you're one of those players like me who feels like FFA, like free-for-all, is just a whole lot of fun, but it's so hard, you don't want to sit in the queue like there and wait for like 10 hours for it to actually find 4 other people or 7 other people to actually chuck you in an FFA with, then this is the tournament for you. This is the one you should sign up for. Just have a crack. It'll be 64 players and you'll funnel it through 2 8-player FFA rounds to see who is the best FFA player of all time. But anyway, so that's coming up. And then the second Hairy Bash is coming up early April. So should be awesome. All these tournaments going on should be very, very awesome. So let's keep moving on with this game. Looks like MMA's got a fast expansion going down. Maybe a bunker going to be going down here as well. Probably not a bad idea. Patience not slacking off at all. Going for a very, very fast expansion as well. And both players with expansions finished by the 5.5 minute mark, which is pretty impressive. Pretty impressive. We've got a fast robo coming out for Patience as well. Relatively fast. Just off one gate. Where is this robo anyway? Where is this? Right, it's hidden back here. So it's trying to hide it behind his expansion, hoping that MMA is not going to see that. And if we have a look, it's actually Control 1. He has not seen it so far, so not scouted that. So that's going to be interesting. Robo Facility, I assume this is going to be for Colossus Tech, because I really can't think of what else it could possibly be for. I mean, maybe some crazy drop action? I don't know, but probably Colossus. I mean, Immortals, they're not super effective versus Terrans because, I mean, as much as Terrans can build Marauders, their mainstay in their army is going to be Marines, and you do not want to throw a bunch of Immortals against Marines. It just doesn't work out. So yeah, I got to think this is for eventual Colossus. He is getting one Immortal out just to start with, but oh, the Marines getting well and truly chased away. And this does not get shown out. 2 more gateways coming down as well. But I got to be thinking that a robotics support bay or robotics bay or whatever the hell it's called is going to be coming up fairly soon. Meanwhile, MMA getting out a bunch of early Marines and trying to take control of the middle of the map. Trying to take control of the whole map pretty much. He's got a Reaper coming out. He's going to be just squeezing in here. Going to be doing a bit of a scout. He's not going to see a lot though. He's going to see these 2 extra gateways. And that might be worrying him a little bit because he's going to be expecting to see at least 1 tech structure. Oh, too good. I thought he could just skimp out through that mineral line, but apparently not. Here we go, the probe, just putting out a pylon. And suddenly MMA is like, oh, Patience is moving out. I don't think Patience is going to be able to do too much though. This is perhaps an ill-advised attack. Maybe he didn't realize quite how many Marines there are on the field, but he definitely does realize that now. And Immortals, man, I mean, they're just not going to get it done here. They're just not going to get it done. I mean, maybe for structures, not a bad idea. I mean, these bunkers are not going to last long versus the Immortals, but the straight up Marines, man, I don't think that Patience has any chance of winning this battle. Not in the slightest. There's just too many Marines, and he just does not have enough, so he's going to get owned here. And he's going to get pushed back. He is warping in a bunch more units, but I still think the Marine pack is just completely incredible right now. Really, they're starting to get weathered down though. Too many stims and not enough medevac support, I think, is a problem. And yeah, that's so Patience has started to turn around. The warping in of all the Stalkers is really starting to help him here. And MMA sort of back against the wall to try and push this off a little bit. I guess the Immortals are tough. I mean, they've got a lot of health as well, and yeah, so they're pretty tough. And I guess the counter for the Stalkers, which is the Marauder, is going to be not all that effective against the Immortals. The Immortals will just shut them down. So really great job. The force field's coming down. The SCV's getting taken out, and MMA is actually having a lot of trouble here. I didn't think the Patience could make this much damage happen, but he definitely has done it. The command center going down. The Marine tech going down. I think the Zealots out the front really just shutting down a lot of the Marine pressure that's possible. Widowmine out the front doing an okay job. And here we go. And MMA has to pressure right here. He cannot allow Patience to make the top of the ramp. And in quick succession, he kills 3 units, including 1 Immortal. And that is going to be something that Patience is going to have to be worried about, because he's got no high ground vision here. And no mothership core. I don't know where his mothership core is, but it's not here. So he's got no high ground. He has to get all the way to the top of the ramp. Oh, nice drop here. Taking out the pylon. And this will be good if he manages to kill this pylon. No, chooses to go for the Stalker instead. I don't know about that. He could have... He obviously realized he couldn't completely shut down the stuff that was warping in. But regardless, he's just going to work on these guys. And his economy has got to be looking just not very good at the moment. He's lost a ton of workers. He's definitely been knocked back so far. And there we go, the pylon does go down. These Marines trying to get something done. They just get out of there, just. And so far, MMA, man, he's built up a fair amount of forces. I don't know whether it's enough to deal with this. I think it probably is. But then again, MMA had a ton of forces before, and Patience somehow just stripped through them. I mean, with some nice Zealot aggression. I mean, Marines versus Zealots is always a bad situation. I mean, even without Zealot legs, the Marines always have to kite them. When you're defending your own base, you cannot kite effectively against Zealots. You just have to stand your ground, and that is how Marines start taking a lot of damage, when they stand their ground versus Zealots. So anyway, it's definitely bad. I mean, he's lost a command center right there, and that is definitely a bad thing. So he's trying to get a counter here. He's trying to shut Patience down, really do a lot of damage. He needs to do a lot of damage, but look at how many Zealots Patience has right here. He does not have Zealot links, but that's a lot of Zealots, and this is exactly the wrong sort of force for MMA to be running up against. He does not want to be running up against that many Zealots, and look at all the Stalkers that just came out as well. MMA, man, is not in a good position here. He's going to try and do some economic damage. The Widowmine doing a good hit, but I don't know, man, with the Nexus being overcharged as well, I don't feel like MMA is going to be in a good position right here. He's actually bringing out workers as well. He's really desperate to make something happen. Managed to take out the Nexus, just completely focused on that, but he needs to get his Marines out of here. And you know, he's actually going for it. He's managed to take out most of the Zealots with the help of the Widowmine, and now he's going to press his advantage right here, maybe make something out of it. I don't know if he can make it up the top of the ramp. I think the Patience will be able to eventually wipe this force out, but for now the Marines go nuts, and this is a bad situation right here. The Colossus, if it survives, is going to wipe out everything. He managed to snipe the Colossus, but he's got almost nothing left. This is the time where he needs to get out of here. He's got no potential for doing any more damage. He cannot sit here and just keep hitting Patience's army. He's have to get out of there. He's done the damage he needed to do. He hasn't knocked back as many workers as he would have liked, but he's knocked back a lot of them. And more importantly, he's taken out Patience's own third base. Well, their own second base anyway. But it may not be enough, because Patience still has a ton of workers, and MMA had to send out a ton of workers to make that happen. So as far as workers are concerned, he's right back there, man. He needs an expansion, but I don't know if he can afford one right now, and I don't know if Patience can afford a... Well, apparently Patience can afford one. He's got one coming out straight away. So those are double worker numbers, man, really helping him out. And MMA, man, I don't think that was enough. I don't think that was enough to take him out. He needed to kill all of the workers that were mining there, in addition to the base, and I don't think he did that. He was over here, he took out the base, but he didn't take out the workers. And most importantly, Patience did not need to actually use his own workers to defend his base, whereas MMA did. MMA had to throw his workers into the grinder to be able to survive, whereas Patience did not. Patience kept his workers back and survived just well with the units he had. And I think that's going to give Patience the advantage, because I mean, right now he has the worker advantage, and I think he's going to keep the worker advantage and increase it once his natural base comes down. So yeah, it's going to be very scary. We've got another Colossus coming out here. This is going to be all sorts of bad news for MMA, because, I mean, Patience is going to have excellent control of his Colossus. He's not going to let it just stay out the front and get sniped. He's going to pull it to the back, and I don't think MMA has any chance of dealing with this army. I mean, he can perhaps get a few more units out, but economy is not on his side right now. It's absolutely not. So yeah, I think it's just going to be a slow death for MMA, or depending on how he attacks, it's either going to be a slow death or a fast death. Of course, he may be able to do something if he takes out these workers, and that's obviously what he's thinking of, doing a drop, maybe sending in some units, sending in a couple of Marauders maybe to pull the main army out, dropping down here. And look at this, man. The Stalkers are out there. He may be able to deal with the Stalkers, but the Colossus coming back up, and this army is not going to be able to do anything right there. Getting taken out quite easily with Colossus support. And there we go. MMA gives the GG, and that is it. Game over for MMA, and great job there by Patience. I really thought at the start that massive amount of Marine pressure would be able to hold off Patience's early aggression, but I think we're really just overestimating how good Marines are, because we always see them with heavy medevac support, we always see them with shields, we always see them with all those upgrades, and at the start, when they don't have shields, when they don't have medevac support, they actually go down pretty fast. So there we go. Great job there by Patience for exposing that weakness early on in MMA's play. I don't know if I say weakness, it's just a timing attack, and managing to take out that expansion, managing to kill all those workers. It was a great attack, and one that MMA never really recovered from. He did an excellent attack against this base, but as we said, never got the worker kills that he needed, and from then on, Patience was pretty much double MMA's worker numbers, and from then on, it was just a matter of time until Patience took the victory out. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching this game. It's a great game. Yeah, and I'll give you more news about the free-for-all tournament coming up pretty soon. Yeah, probably start of March. There'll probably be something solid coming out. So anyway, thank you very much for watching this game. Stay tuned. I'll be casting another one tomorrow. Yeah, I'll catch you guys later. This has been Harry Muppet.